This isn't war. It isn't a natural disaster. But the impact is greater than both. At exactly rare, signal drops, everywhere. No Wi-Fi, no mobile data. Satellites go silent. The world goes offline. And in the first seconds, everyone thinks the same thing. Is it just my router? But this wasn't just a local glitch. It wasn't maintenance. It wasn't sabotage. This was a silence that cut through the veins of the world's nervous system. Data centers blinked out, clouds emptied, protocols collapsed. There was power, but no connection. There was light, but no signal. In those first few minutes, something profound began. Humanity became, individually, alone. The first 6 hours were the quietest, but not calm. The quiet of the eye of a storm. People stared into black screens, toggled their Wi-Fi off and on, refreshed the same empty page again and again. It wasn't routine, it was withdrawal. Social media wasn't down, it was gone. Google was silent, Spotify paused, Netflix was just a dead icon. Bank transfers halted, airports froze, GPS vanished, emergency calls failed, security systems glitched, even traffic lights lost their sync. And in panic, people looked not inward, but outward. They walked to balconies, they opened windows, and shouted one phrase that united the globe. Do you have internet? For the first time, humanity spoke in unison, not in hashtags, but in breath. And the silence that followed was deafening. 12 hours have passed, and time is falling apart. No alarms, no reminders, no schedules, no notifications. People forget to check the clock. A species unsure when to speak now lives by instinct alone. The daily rhythm collapses. People miss work, forget meals, lose sleep, and worst of all, begin to forget how to speak. The tools of connection fall silent, and the voice within grows thin. Some open books, some stare through windows, some just wait. But inside the mind, something new grows. A question whispers, had I adapted to silence? Or had I never known it at all? Communication was no longer out there, it was inside. The phrases looping in your head felt more real than the texts you never sent. And ironically, in the absence of the internet, humanity began to connect. To itself. 24 hours pass, and humanity loses its digital identity. Follower counts, gone. Avatars, vanished. Usernames, meaningless. No one has a blue check. No one appears online. Last seen no longer exists. Worse, people forget at each other because names and faces were matched by code. Each hour offline is a fading memory. Everyone starts to look the same. Everyone becomes alone. Everyone becomes invisible. People look in mirrors and no longer recognize themselves because there are no selfies, no filters, no face left to post. The only thing not digital was silence. 36 hours pass. And now, people must face each other. Face-to-face conversations begin to return, but it's not easy. Because the internet wasn't just a tool, it was a mask. Those who once hid behind digital identities now stood exposed, and many, speaking to strangers for the first time, had to listen to their own voice. Raw. The streets were quiet, but the mouths began to open. First stories were shared. First, I feel the same moments echoed, but conflict also rose. People now lived with their unfiltered selves. No more anonymous rage. No more trolls. No more curated shame. Anger lived in real eyes. Some cried, some screamed, some stayed silent, but no one used a filter. After 48 hours offline, people still wanted to connect. But this time, connection came through the eyes, not the screens. In the streets, small circles formed. Children wrote messages in chalk on the pavement. Neighbors sent notes through windows. Paper planes became communication lines. And a realization emerged. Even without the internet, communication is inevitable. Public notices were read aloud. Old radio signals came to life. Handwritten boards and painted signs created a new kind of network. It was quiet, but strong. This new web was visible, tangible, and above all, honest. In this new network, no one tried to go viral, because every human was already seen. And suddenly, the internet came back. No explanation, just returned. Phones buzzed, screens lit up. After 48 silent hours, there were 8,243 new messages. But people didn't look. Not right away. Some didn't even pick up the phone. Because real words had already been spoken, face to face. And the screen wasn't bright enough anymore. Some returned to the apps, to the algorithms, to the quiet screams. But for others, those 48 hours weren't a test. They were a choice. They remembered what real connection felt like. And now, going back was no longer mandatory. It was optional.